we have returned to YouTube. This is Comic Conversation, and this is episode, I have no idea, but here we are. Yeah, exactly. We have over 100. Yeah, we have quite a few topics to cover. We picked some of the most interesting things we thought for this week. I know we missed a couple things over the past few weeks, but we have a few things here that I think are pretty cool that we want to talk about. And we also value your input and your comments as well. So go ahead and leave your comments in the chat as we go along, or if you're watching later, definitely drop a comment down below, and we can talk about it there as well. We'll continue that conversation post live. But I do see Daniel Ibarra. He's first. He says, "What's up, homies? What's up to you too, sir?" And then Mr. Gretzky 9966 is there as well. So this is my first time using this, so I think I can play with this a little bit, and we get to see folks on screen now, which is pretty cool. So it's been a couple weeks. We'll get through the topics, I guess. I know, Justin, I was actually looking at your channel the other day, and I saw that you haven't done a video in how long?
Dude.
In a
it was
month?
like a month.
In a month.
I saw that yesterday, and I was like, holy crap.
It's been a month, dude.
Yeah. I don't know.
So hopefully you'll have something.
No, and that was the messed up thing is last week I recorded or attempted to record 3 different videos, and the encoder kept saying encoder overloaded or something that. Yeah, so it would record it and the audio was fine, but all the video was like choppy and didn't make any sense at all. So I don't know what's going on. So I tried really hard, but I'm just going to go back to the old program I was using, and it should be okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. I don't know what, so people know I'm playing with the settings here. Do you prefer this or this? With just 2 people. I think it's kind of cool. Zoomed in a little bit like that. Yeah. So, all right, cool. So let's get into the topics. Well, actually, I'll just tell you really quickly. I've been doing the history and origin stuff. I've been having a lot of fun with that. So I've been trying to throw those up and put it a little bit more, in terms of volume. So I'm trying to do a few a week. So
those have been really good. I really like the Youngblood Rob Liefeld video you did.
Oh, yeah.
That was good. I mean, that was a lot of information. Like, you don't realize, you just think that he owns Youngblood. You know, it's exactly. Those are his characters. And you don't realize the background with it and what's been done, over the course of them trying to get it into a movie or TV show or what other format, or them just trying to have money to publish the book of what they had to do to keep it afloat.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's really good information.
Yeah, and then it was an update as I was going through. I was looking up a couple things, and then I saw that he's actually, because back in 2013 he did this big Kickstarter for Brigade, and he raised about $35,000, and then it hit him to like $40,000, and the people haven't seen the book since then. So that was in the video, but then I saw he did an update where you were part of that? Mm-hmm. He's going to be actually supposedly having the book ready by New York Comic Con, and those backers will get the book first.
We'll see.
Supposedly.
I'll do a video when I get it.
Okay, an unboxing, right? 4 or 5 years in the making, right? Mm-hmm. So but that's one of those I'll believe it when I see it type of thing. So
that was the other thing that made me sad about that video, was the fact that he walked away from a 7-figure deal with Brigade. So disappointing. But now hopefully that slabbed Brigade miniseries #1 gold foil cover in 9.8. Hopefully that'll come down in price now, so I can buy it and not feel like I'm getting ripped off.
Exactly. Hopefully that'll be something you can pick up. Yeah, because there aren't very many of them out there.
Not the gold ones. No, not really.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Don't talk about the regular #1s. There's no telling how many of those I have. A lot.
Yeah, you probably have a couple hundred.
But when the news broke, of course, I was like, crap, I'll go pick up a couple more. You randomly find a couple more that's in good shape. You're like, might as well.
Why not? Yeah, it's $1 bin, 25-cent, 50-cent bin. Why not, right? It's a fun read, if nothing else. So, All right, cool. So we got Jackio here. I see Comics for All People, and then TJ as well. So he says good evening. So good evening to you as well, good sir. All right, let's jump into the topics. The first one, we've been talking a lot about like some of the option stuff and things that have been coming out in terms of new properties that are coming out or continuations. So you had like Lord of the Rings that's being picked up for something, and then you have a whole bunch of these like sword and sorcery type of thing. We talked about like Conan, those properties. So this one we talked about, but kind of got a bit of an update for it, which is pretty cool. And that is Dungeons and Dragons. Nice. So that was like my jam back then. So you have a couple people who, so you had Chris McKay who was on it as the director. He dropped off. Chris McKay left, and then you got these two guys, Jonathan Goldstein and John F. Daley. They did. They were on the Flash project with Ezra Miller. They dropped off of that. They also co-wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming. Mm-hmm. So that gives you kind of a flavor of, a taste of the flavor of the way they like to write stuff. So like, Flash, and I could see like that young Spider-Man kind of being that same, type of person, basically. But yeah,
it's just the unsure of themselves character.
Right. So I think they're going to maybe take that approach with Dungeons and Dragons, someone who, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but
very well. It very well could be. It would, any actual big budget version of Dungeons and Dragons compared to the craziness of the lower budget B movie Dungeons and Dragons that we got not too long ago.
Yeah.
So
anything, right?
Very hopeful.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And this is actually, it's going to tie into something we're going to talk about next. But this is actually part of Allspark, which is the Hasbro like film production company. This is going to be one of their first projects to come out. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if most people realize it's part of that productions house. So Jackio says, hope the D&D movie resembles the cartoon. So there you go. That would be
good cartoon.
Perfect. Yeah. So the reason this ties in and the reason I'm mentioning that is because we also got news about Snake Eyes, that movie. We have Henry Golding, who's going to be Snake Eyes, actually. Henry Golding, people know from Crazy Rich Asians. He was one of the main cast for that. So great pick. I think he's a great actor. And my question, I have a lot of questions with people like this, like Mahershala Ali. Great actor, but how are their martial arts skills? I think the
fact that he's playing a character that you never see their face and they don't talk.
Yeah.
So why would you even cast anybody in that role that you would have to give a paycheck to?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I would just have a stuntman play Snake Eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if they go the origin route, they could do like the first half where he's in the long range recon patrols. Mm-hmm. They're probably not Vietnam. They'll kind of do like the Marvel sliding origin time skill thing. Yeah. Right. They'll make it like he was in Afghanistan or something. And, the helicopter attack that ruined his face and, all that type of stuff. So they could do like half of it where he talks and then half where he decides to stop talking.
I don't remember anything in the cartoon about him having a messed up face.
Oh, well, this is Larry Hama's cartoon. He was out on recon patrol, and then eventually he went and did his training and everything. But he was out on a mission, one of the first missions with Scarlet, actually on the helicopter, and it got hit, and this big explosion happened, and he was trying to save her and stayed on there, and the explosion like ruined his face. But he went on to fight regardless of that. So
bullets too.
Yeah. So they can go that route, and then have the last half of it have him be like fully formed, so to speak. So
like fully suited up.
Yeah.
Jackio said that the new Image book, Die, which it's up to a few issues now, is like a good. He said it's very similar to D&D. I would agree with that.
Yeah. There was another one, Once in Future. I didn't get to read it. My shop was out. But it had, to me at least, from the solicitations and some of the artwork that I saw, like that type of vibe too. I don't know if you guys got to read Once in Future.
But okay, random question since you said your shop was out. Was your shop out of other stuff this week? My shop randomly was out of stuff too, so I don't know if it was a distribution problem or what.
Yeah, they were out like I think he got shorted on like Powers of X2.
Yep.
What was the other one? There was another one. Not I want to say
Supergirl, right? Supergirl had some issues where I think there was some damaged copies and something happened in Plattsburgh where it messed up a bunch of those. So just basically having to, I guess, pull back orders on that. And then
there was 2 books that like there was a mix up with the artwork or something to where they actually got recalled.
Right. That was the Superman 14 issue that came out this week, right?
Right.
Superman was it 14? I don't know.
Something like
Whatever
that.
the number was.
33 for Supergirl, I think it was. It was 2 of them.
33 and it was, I forget what the other one was, but there was some issues there. And then
not the DC books I bought.
I didn't see Once This Land, or whatever it was.
Once in Future.
Yes, I didn't see that, and I didn't see and it might have just been that my shop just didn't get a bunch of them. But the second print of Wolverine and Blade, there wasn't any of that. I'm trying to think what else I was looking for.
My shop had some of that one.
Yeah, we didn't have any at ours, but
but my big thing was like Powers of X, Powers of 10, whatever you want to call it. 2. Yeah, my shop didn't have it, so they said that they had done the reorder or whatever, and we're supposed to get them in tomorrow, so I got to run back tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a pretty good read. Yeah, I put that on the list to talk about. I guess we could skip ahead to it, but you didn't get it, so maybe.
I mean, you can spoil it. I'm gonna read it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not the last issue, so we're good.
Exactly. Yeah, it continues. You know, if you like the first couple issues, the House of X and Powers of 10-1, you'll like this too. It continues with that. House of X 2 was pretty fantastic. What they did with Moira and making everything count basically, and she suddenly becomes like this like he said, she's gonna be like the most important mutant ever. Like he delivered on that promise,
And it's really cool that he's done it in that way. He's taken a character that we all know. She's always been in the books. She's always been around, things like that. But she was always just kind of a background character. She, just a scientist trying to help out, like no big deal. And then boom, she is the one who like fates of all these timelines hinge on and everything. It's nuts that's just a really, really cool idea to bring in like longtime fans too, that everybody was like, blew their mind, that
exactly
that Moira McTaggart or whatever her last name is, depending upon her life. That's just insane. Like she, I don't even know. But we're missing a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna do something with it later. But I was wondering about Proteus and that timeline. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's in timeline 6, the missing timeline.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah,
that's what I'm figuring. Why that one's like that's the only one that was left open. You know what I'm saying? Without an explanation.
That's got to pay off somewhere down the storyline.
Yeah, and of course, I hope everybody watching this was able to get House of X issue 2 last week because prices jumped.
Yeah, I got the because I'm a big Scotty Young guy, like I got the Scotty Young cover, so and I just really like those. Like I like how he just kind of will slip a joke in there here and there and everything, and so I have the regular cover for the first one because I wasn't able to find that Scotty Young, but I have just the Scotty Youngs going forward. So and it's one of those ones that I could tell from basically like House of X #1. It seemed like they were like he's laying the groundwork for something big. Didn't realize it was gonna, just catch fire so quickly. But I mean, this is now can't miss issues. You know what I mean? If you miss one and something big happens, you never know if you're gonna be able to, get it again and see it again. So I would say miss it.
And the fact that Hickman has this planned out for 3 years, basically, this is insane. I mean, of course, we kind of figured that he would probably do that because he always takes a long run on books. But coming into this, he has a 3-year plan.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And that's the other thing too. It's just like, when you think about, just all like this isn't even getting like we haven't even gotten to the actual main X-Men titles that are going to be on their way. Like this is just the prelude to it all. So it's just like,
Right.
how big of a story is this really going to be? Like how much of this is going to lead into? And it's just one of those things where if you are an X-Men fan, or if you like he's doing his best to bring them back with a really, really big bang to try to position them as a top book again. So we'll see what happens. I mean, just because like there's so many, because they keep releasing little bits and pieces of stuff from the solicits down the road. There's so many questions because all the titles with all the I mean just
all the new books like Marauders and all that, like but here's the thing. When we first saw all that, we were like, what are they doing with all these? Now after reading just a couple issues,
zero sense. Yeah.
But now we're like, oh, it's all different. All the teams are going to be different. It's not like they've been around before. These are like it's like an X-Men reboot.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's just like, I mean, there's stuff showing Apocalypse as, potentially on the team. And it's just like, who in their right mind would ever put him? Not so much I'm talking about like creatively. I'm just saying in general, like, it's just like the history they've had, because it's not like they're walking away from the history of the X-Men.
Dark Side's on the Justice League.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah.
True. But when you read Powers of X2, the Apocalypse thing will start to make sense.
It's just funny. Go
ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it just I just think about it where it's just like it's still just as much as all right, it makes sense within the confines of this story. It's just like, but in the confines of the entire history, no. I'm sorry. That's just like I'm just trying. That would be. And I can't even be like, oh, that's like Doom joining the Fantastic Four, but that's already kind of happened once already. So it's just, but it still doesn't make it seem like it's like, this would make plenty of sense. I mean, they're cool now. It's like, no, but like
that's like Carnage being on Power Pack.
Yeah, it's just like it's just one of those things where it's just like, especially with the history they've had, like it's like not only have you killed, I mean, people have died trying to stop you. You've killed plenty of people. We've, it's just like there's got to be too much there to overcome. And like, yeah, we're gonna let them in and be. But I mean, I said the same thing when they allowed Juggernaut on the team and Sabretooth on the team, and it's just like, how is this possible? But hey, whatever, anything can happen.
Everybody deserves a second and 99th chance.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is going to be typical Hickman. It's going to get much bigger than you thought, and all these what are seemingly loose ends are all going to wrap up nicely at the end. It's going to be a big, nice payoff. Which that kind of like the fact that you have to wait and guess and figure things out for a while. Like I think that turns people off to Hickman sometimes. But
I still say it's Hickman, right?
Yeah.
This is all going to come back around to Franklin Richards.
Maybe
that's why they showed just a blip of him, or they didn't show him. They mentioned him in the first issue when Cyclops was talking to Reed and Sue. They mentioned him. He's a mutant. He's gonna be a big part of this somehow at some point.
Yeah. Was he on the Omega list? And the first issue they did the list of Omega mutants.
Yeah. Yep,
he was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
Well, Iceman, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like Iceman. I think Iceman's a great mutant.
But it was cool. It was cool to get that list because there's always been like, I mean, that's a definitive list. Is it complete? We don't know, but it eliminates a whole bunch of people from being Omega. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, which made me mad because Jubilee's not on there. She was considered Omega at one point, even though people be like, she was, just because they said that
fingers.
with her power, like it was one of those things where, like with her power, she pretty much is limitless as far as the effects that she can create, and she could, I guess, if she really tried, like ignite the atmosphere if she wanted.
Yeah.
So like same thing with
Jeez.
Well, same thing with Iceman, where they're just like he like, and when you get into the all science of his powers, it's actually pretty cool that like he like just manipulates so many things, and it's just like he actually, if you really explore and go down the road, like he could do so much more than just just the ice stuff. Like he can literally like control almost slowing down molecules so much that he can control like space and time almost. If they really wanted to go so far into it, it's like theorized that he could do that. Which
it's too bad though that he's not smart enough to figure out how to use his powers.
That's cool. He's as
true.
Cool as he is, man.
Because Emma Frost took him over one time for like a minute and showed him things about his powers that he never even thought were possible. So messed up. That I mean, and that's the thing. That's one of the cool things you can do with mutant stories is you can give somebody who would never know how to use their powers these amazing powers, and they just use it to like plant flowers or something because they don't know what to do with it. You know,
Right.
like you could do all these great things. So it's going to be great to see. But 2 quick little updates before we keep going here. Adam's watching, but not in the chat, but he said that he went and looked at 12 different copies of Once and Future at 3 different shops. All were damaged, and he also said that supposedly the Superman and Superman and Supergirl issues that were messed up only made it to 2 of the West Coast Diamond facilities. Didn't make it to the East Coast at all.
Yeah, they said if you got your books on Monday, they might be the messed up ones. If you got your shipments on the Tuesday, then you would have gotten like the okay ones. So I guess the Monday ones went to
the West Coast.
That from that facility. So it's interesting.
Crazy.
Jackie has a couple comments. Here's one from him. He says, how can a comic with 100K print run go up in value overnight? I'm baffled. And that's a great question. I think part of it, I don't know like the full obviously scope of what would be the reason, but I think some of it has to do with the fact that everyone's like, well, this is a big Marvel event. There's going to be so many copies out there. I don't need to put this on my pull list. If I go to my shop, they're going to have a crap ton of
trade
copies.
Weight.
And all the variants.
Trade waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like, well, let's see where it goes and this and that. So I think there's a bit of like the scramble to catch up, and then suddenly people are hearing it's like pretty good, and people are going out and getting copies, and then you hear like with this second issue how more is so important. It's maybe a key issue, so you get people buying multiple copies, and then I think shops maybe being it's an event, but still somewhat conservative with it, So I think there's kind of a perfect storm there of all of that happening.
But yeah, it's mainly just it's the first appearance of Moira's powers, basically, not the character in any way. They reveal that she's a mutant, maybe.
Right.
And then, yeah, it's just speculator hype.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Normal stuff.
I blame Comic Tom. I said.
Yeah. It's your fault, buddy.
I don't even know if Comic Tom made a comment on it. Like, I haven't paid attention to any of that stuff. But
yeah. Whether you did or not, it's your fault, Tom.
Yeah. I just noticed it out of nowhere. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But I just had to pop off, do daddy stuff, and then come.
It's all good. It's all good.
So I missed what you guys are talking about. I just heard that something about powers being cool. So I didn't know if it was similar conversation we just had, or just adding to it, or what. But
yeah, we were talking about this potentially being a key issue to where it's the first time we get to see more developer powers, and we get to like see them.
It could be.
So I think there's like Justin said, some speculator sort of thing around that where people are like, well, it may be. Let me just make sure and have some copies.
Well, I mean, my shop already
hello.
Yeah, issue 2. They already jumped it up to $15.
Wow.
So if you didn't get it last week,
I'll do it.
$15.
Yeah. Yeah. There was another book. I forget which book it was.
Okay.
Hi.
I want to.
Hey.
Hello. Hi.
Hey. Night.
Was it Kanto? No, it wasn't Kanto. It was something else with a C.
Bye.
I can't think of the name of it right now.
Sea of Stars.
No, that wasn't it. What was yesterday?
Yesterday.
Okay. What were the new books that came out?
Yeah, it was one of the new books. It was a first issue.
White Trees.
Comics releases. Okay.
I don't know where you could look at a list of that or anything.
Yeah, there's a certain website. It has that all up there.
No, see, I don't know. What did I get? White Trees, Reaver, Sonata.
Oh yeah, was it Reaver 2?
Reaver 2, Sonata 3, White Trees 1. Those are the indies. Are you talking indie? Or are we talking about like Collider or Collapser from DC?
That wasn't it. I'm just trying to complete blank on it right now. So
it happens. There's a lot of books.
Company?
Yeah. I'll find it.
You're gonna find it. We're making you.
Yeah, we jumped ahead, but we were talking about Snake Eyes with Henry Golding. He's from Crazy Rich Asians, right? So that the reason I'm going back to that is it ties to the next thing I wanted to mention, which seemingly might not be important. So Gemma Chan is in talks to join the Eternal movie. She was actually Minerva, if you remember, one of the Kree in Captain Marvel. So that we don't know who she's going to be or what. But the big thing about that is she's going to be. And let me back up. She's not going to be Minerva for this. It's going to be a different character. So she's going to be the first character to play multiple roles in the same universe for this. So that's interesting, I thought.
That's good. I mean, she had a definite look, like her skin had a tone to it or something as her character in Captain Marvel. So that gives them leeway to do something else with her,
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's awesome for her that she got to move to something else. They're like, we liked you so much in this small little role where you had 4 lines. We're gonna put you in this one.
Yeah. I can't find what it was. Yeah, she was a pretty cool character.
That's a theme though in Marvel, just because remember, before they went horribly wrong with it, I mean, Vin Diesel, I Am Groot, ended up almost parlaying him into being Black Bolt. No lines. The pinnacle.
Whatever. I'm glad the guy who played Black Bolt failed and then went to Star Trek Discovery because he's awesome in that. He was not awesome as Black Bolt. Anson Mounts.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was not good. None of that. Nothing about that was good.
And it probably wasn't even him. He's just working with the script and stuff they gave him, because we can see how good he is now. I don't know. Yeah, I can't think of anything that started with a C. I'm still trying to think too. Conan. There was Conan's.
Conan.
Valeria.
Yeah. His girlfriend gets a look. That's kind of cool.
You give me Valeria, I will go get the gem for you. What he did. But it was all a lie. It's all a lie.
I just went through your whole list and I couldn't find what I was looking for. But
it came out this week?
So that's weird. So
it came out this week?
Yeah, I give up on that. I don't want to take too much time on that. Jack says Conan Exodus was awesome. Esau Ribic pulled off the rare one-man show.
Yeah.
That's tough when you find someone who can do, writing and art.
Yeah, right.
That puts you in the John Byrne category.
Yeah.
So the question is, when's his creator-owned stuff coming out, written and drawn by him?
Yeah, that's right.
That would be insane.
All right, cool. We did get notice that Disney is unimpressed with the New Mutants. They had a big kind of talk about all this stuff. Like Fox, they had this huge hit with a hit meaning like a loss on their finances because of Dark Phoenix and a bunch of others. That the Art of Racing in the Rain really did not do well. That was another one that they took a big hit on. So they're basically slashing the whole line with the production, all the upcoming stuff, and they're redoing some things like reboots on Disney Plus. So I think they're doing like a Home Alone show and like things like that, like Love, Simon. They're doing that's going to be on Disney Plus as a series. That was a movie a couple years back.
Wait, isn't the Art of Racing in the Rain a dog movie?
It is. Yep, it's based on a novel.
So how did they think that was going to do a lot of money?
Yeah,
it's gonna do okay in the theater. It'll be a good home rental type movie, but not a blockbuster.
Exactly. It's not a blockbuster. It's one of those
it's not 1985, and this isn't Homeward Bound. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You did mention. Oh, what?
Dude from Heroes. The guy from Heroes is in that movie, right? I'm pretty sure. I think
so. Yeah.
And it's just and what's the name? That Amanda Seyfried or whatever her name is.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah. Because I remember seeing the preview of that, and they've been trying to hype it, but it was just I didn't. It's not that. I mean, like Justin saying, this is not the era of the feel good movie. Not to say you can't make one, but I mean, what were they expecting? Like, oh yeah, this is the family.
Plus, it's you know what's going to happen when you watch that movie. You're going to cry. Nobody wants to cry at the theater. They'll wait till they're at the house.
Yeah.
No, and the other thing too is just that, like, I mean, if they were upset about that, it's just like, you're going up against the remake of The Lion King. I mean, you should have already known the family market is tapped right then and there. Like,
exactly. But this is, like you said, Justin, this is a racing movie. A racing movie that I'm super excited about. I think it's going to be awesome. It's
November.
Ferrari. That thing looks insane. That looks so good.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
Yeah. But the reason we're talking about all that is because part of that announcement was New Mutants. That's been pushed back and pushed back. It was actually supposed to be out like 3 or 4 times already, and now we have April 2020 as the next release date. It's basically, it was shot, all the principal production photography was done by Fox, so that part is paid for. But as we've talked about in the past, a big part of the budget and the expense is P&A, printed advertising. In other words, the marketing campaign, which can be very expensive. And that's probably what Disney doesn't want to spend the money on for this right now, even though it's like basically maybe minus a couple new scenes or reshoots or whatever. But they basically don't want to pay these millions of dollars for the TV spots and this and that. So, there's 3 options they could do. They could put it on Hulu. They could put it on Disney Plus. Well, actually 4 options. They could wait and put it on Disney Plus because that'll be launched by that launches in November. So if they have that April 2020, they could just throw it on there. Or they could completely scrap it and just do nothing with it. Or they could sell it to like Netflix or something. Other companies have done that with movies. What was the one that went to Netflix? It was the Cloverfield one, Cloverfield Paradox. That was still in theaters. Remember that?
Not cool.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there was
that was a Netflix series. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a trailer, like release or whatever, and then during the Super Bowl, they're like, "Surprise! It's on Netflix. Watch it after the game." So the company actually sold it to Netflix, and they just streamed it and did its numbers there. So that's a way that like companies now can like dump off a movie, make a little bit of the money back, and not have to worry about all of that and distro and everything. So they could easily just sell that off to Netflix or something. Although it is like Marvel characters, so they probably won't. But it is an option, so to speak.
At this point, Netflix may not want to have much to do with them. Oh, well, you're going to give it to us? Are you just going to take it away?
Yeah, it sounds like it'll be New Mutants will be direct to Hulu. I mean, if it's as uninspiring as they said, why not?
Exactly. And truth be told, we've talked about this, and I know TiVo over on Lords of the Longbox has talked about it. Hulu is supposed to be the darker, like supernatural, mystical side of things, the horror side of it. They have Adventure into Fear coming out. That's the banner for some of this stuff. There's all of that, like the monsters and like the darker side. So with New Mutants being a horror movie, I think it would fit within that, stable of, whatever you want to call it, that channel, the horror stuff, the darker stuff. Because it is, I mean, I don't know how scary it is, but they did bill it as a horror movie, and they did the reshoots to make it scarier. So if anything, it would fit very well there on Hulu. That would make sense.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens if it's going to end up being, that's the type of genre and what they want to do with it. And I mean, maybe that will, give them a, a little bit of a boost into, because if it kind of fits in with what they're already doing, why not?
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
Just because,
that would kind of like that would mitigate their concern, if that's truly what a concern is, for the costs with the P&A side of it. People, if they have Hulu, they'll see it. You can run your ads through there or whatever, and it's a lot cheaper.
I'm just curious, like if it's a situation too, like where are they upset with? If they're upset with the directing of it and everything, that's one thing. But it's just like that's kind of salvageable. You just being all right, new director, we'll take it in whatever direction we want. But are they upset with acting?
It looked like that was going to be a pretty dark movie. That's probably what they have the issue with. It's New Mutants. It looked like they were dealing with like rituals and things of that sort from what we got to see, little clips of, little snippets and previews. So that's probably where Disney's got an issue.
Yeah.
It's got magic in it. They're going to hell. Or limbo, sorry.
I wanted the cat to move. It's okay.
All right.
It's okay. Yeah.
Close that. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much it for that. I did want to mention that I think it's really cool. Andy Serkis is going to actually be, he's in final talks. I guess it's not 100% yet, but he's going to be directing Venom 2, the sequel. So I think that's an awesome choice. He's the master of mocap, basically. That's exactly what you need for Venom, and that was what was a little bit awkward with the Venom movie. Some of that, I guess they used mocap, and they didn't quite know what to do with it. But with somebody like Andy Serkis on board, knock it out of the park. And he's a good director. I don't know if you guys saw. I always mix them up. There was the Jungle Book and Mowgli. I don't know. Like Jon Favreau did one, and then Andy Serkis did the other one. So
Favreau did the Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book?
Yeah, Favreau did the Jungle Book.
Okay, so Serkis did the Mowgli movie then, right? Yeah. Okay. And it was pretty good. It was good. I think he's got good acting chops for it, and he has a good style. I think that'll pair well with Venom. But what do you guys think? Shout out to Mastodon Comics too. Yeah. Okay.
I
think he's a good fit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially as an actor. I mean, I don't know what his directing, production credits, things like that are. But as an actor, like we've seen him pull off like really, really believable mocap stuff. We've seen him act as a live action character too, and do really well. So
Caesar, Gollum. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean that's where we all heard of him. That's where we all first heard of Andy Serkis was him playing Gollum.
Yeah. And it was just I think you also got to think too. That was 2003.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago.
So at this point, it's almost like they've built software around him and how he So it's just for him, that's probably more natural than just acting as himself, because he can flow right into it. So I think that when you have him directing it, you're gonna have him teaching a lot of people as to this is how you do this. This is how you get the most out of the mocap to make it look as real as possible. So that's a good thing to have him on board.
Yeah. Ulysses Claw. He was Ulysses Claw.
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
He was Caesar. I'm looking at the IMDb right now.
Yep.
Gollum, of course, which we said. Many Caesars.
Yeah, he was more than wasn't he? A couple of the other.
I'm Spartacus.
Was he? Cobra?
He was Kong and King Kong.
Yeah, he was Kong. Like he's done a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Tons of I'd say Gollum. He was Private Thomas Quinn in Death Watch. What? Meaning what?
I've not seen that one.
Yeah, exactly. That was what was. Not like awesome. That was like a who? He played Vincent Van Gogh. He's got some good range here, man, with this filmography. He's he played the lead elf in Arthur Christmas. Anyway, right. And there was a Mouse Guard movie. I see it on here, but that was actually that was canceled.
I was like, I don't remember that coming out.
Yeah, it says announced. It's on his IMDb, but that was actually canceled, so they need to update that.
Yeah, I think that he does bring an element to that will make that stand out a little more, and hopefully he can. I mean, I'm not sure story-wise how it's all going to go, but as far as getting things to kind of look a little better, I don't know if they will, for the CGI part of it, as far as the look of the characters and stuff, make it look a little better. But definitely the movement, definitely like how everything. Because I know that some people had a little bit of they had some critical thoughts on how some of the things moved and how too blocky, and this didn't look right, and then looking at the CG of Venom and everything. So, I mean,
Is Tom Hardy back?
Should be.
Yes, yeah.
Him and Michelle Williams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
I would really. I think it would be really cool if he died and it went to Flash Thompson in this movie.
Yeah.
The Flash from Far From Home.
Are they in the same universe? We don't know. We think they are, but we don't know.
Venom, right?
But I would. I mean, at this point, I would. What, they just have to bring Venom into the regular MCU because that Flash is MCU.
That ain't gonna happen.
No.
I don't see them bringing Venom over. I want Spider-Man and Venom too, but I don't think that's gonna happen either.
It's tough, like, because Tom Holland as Spider-Man is obviously really popular right now. Great, if you ask me, probably the best Spider-Man actor. So Sony can still obviously use Spider-Man, but what they said was you can't use Tom Holland.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it would just be probably CGI Spider-Man, like looking over some things, but you won't have Peter Parker.
Take his mask off.
So
yeah, so interesting. So talking about like upcoming stuff, I wanted to see if I can do this. I haven't done this before. There's some really cool leaks that TiVo mentioned over on Lords of the Longbox in terms of what's coming up for Phase 5 and beyond and what it will be leading to. And he actually launched his website. So I wanted to kind of screen share this. We can take a look at it together. This is his new website. It's lotlb.com. And I wanted to go over this with you guys and kind of get your thoughts on it, because to me it sounds pretty damn cool. So this is also a way to plug his channel for him. So Secret Wars Scoop as the next endgame level MCU event. So this would actually be probably far away. Yeah, look at that. It matches right with your shirt. Like far in advance, like years down the road. This is like a long time, but some of these things are going to be building towards that. And we've talked about in the past having like sort of mini arcs, mini events through a couple movies or 3 movies. But even with that, and you'll see with this, it still would be leading towards Secret Wars. So he says the next end game, so to speak, meaning like the next massive like thing that involves everybody, is going to be Secret Wars, and he has his insiders. Black Knight's one of them, I guess. He uses Civil War as an example of that. So this is how he says it's going to be. Can you see my mouse? Yeah, you can. So right here, Secret Wars will secretly build from film to film, with annihilation happening in the middle of it, all with Galactus. And it will have, Battle World basically, but Battle World will be Earth or an Earth, let's say. And it's from Wakanda to Atlantis to Latveria, and they'll each be like a pocket universe. So it's going to basically blend the old the first Secret Wars, like I think 84 was when it came out, right? And then the Jonathan Hickman one. So he says it's going to be how in Lord of the Rings they had the different areas, like the orcs lived over here, the humans lived over here. So it'll kind of have that sort of a setup for Midgard here. And then I guess it's going to actually have cinematic tie-ins as well. So there'll be like how like when you have an event and then you have like the side story, like they mention a battle, but they don't have time to talk about it in the main book. But if you buy the tie-in book, they'll show that whole battle, right? So that's kind of the idea of what they'll have for that. So they'll have, like it says here, solo and team movies will have fights not in like the proper thing there. And then Doctor Doom, obviously, he says that will take over Europe, and of course that will be Latveria, right? The Mandarin, which is going to be in Shang-Chi, will control Asia, which makes sense. And then this one's interesting. The U.S. will belong to the Red Skull, with U.S. agent becoming a Hydra traitor. So that's interesting. I think, and this will tie to Disney Plus. U.S. agent would be somebody that you'll see in what's it called? One of the Disney Plus. Falcon, Winter Soldier. Yeah. So he'll probably be in that. And then it says 3 pictures and several tie-ins, all hands on deck by this time. So they can't use the Netflix stuff right now. There's a 2-year stipulation in the contract. They can't use any of Daredevil, those characters for 2 years. But by the time they get to this, they can use it anywhere. You could have Daredevil as Peter's lawyer. You could have Defenders, everything in there, right? And then also all the horror stuff we've been talking about with Hulu, that will be involved as well, he says. And just like I said, it will mash up the Shooter and the Hickman versions, so the original and the 2015. So that's a lot to unpack, but a lot of these things will be happening on multiple platforms. So in the MCU, on Hulu, on Disney Plus, and then you'll still have all of the arcs. So this doesn't negate some of the other rumors that are out there, like Annihilation, for example. But that will still happen. But that overall kind of meta plot, meaning the overall direction of everything, will all be driving the story towards a Secret Wars event. So take it away, guys. What do you think?
Oh, that sounds awesome. I mean, just to be able to see it, that they're gonna go and use every platform that they have to kind of piece it all together is really cool. And it's smart just to kind of be able to be like, oh, like we'll just mention this thing here, kind of like how they did with Budapest, and they kept talking about Budapest, and we had no frame of reference for it, but now if they're gonna do it that way, it's gonna be they're gonna mention some big battle that happened in some movie or some big battle that happens on a show. That just kind of is cool to tie everything together in that same way. So that I think is a really, really, really cool concept, and I really like Secret Wars. The original was great. The Hickman one was pretty good. I think that it's a cool way to go with it. And then the fact that they're mentioning Galactus and Doom and everything is really, really cool too. So by that time, we most likely will have had the Fantastic Four introduced. I don't know about the X-Men yet at that point in time, but
how are you gonna do Secret Wars without the Fantastic Four? Well, you have to with Doom, I guess, but Secret Wars wouldn't even happen till the end of Phase 5.
At least, yeah. You're probably
we're talking like 10 years out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you're talking a decade down the road.
This is like they're changing that. I've heard that what they're doing is that they're gonna try to make the phases. I think it's like 2 to 3 years, so that it's not you kind of get to the same spot. Like you said, it'd be 10 years on the road, sort of. But it's just like but it won't be something where it's like you have this huge big drought in between where it's just like phase 2 into phase 3, and then so I think they're gonna try to move things along a little bit quicker once they actually get it going. So phase 4 might be a little bit longer just to kind of get things on the ground.
The thing we kind of glazed over there though is the Annihilation is going to be on.
Oh yeah, well,
Annihilation was huge. Like that should be the end of phase 4's big event or something. Like that's a massive space issue.
Well,
it would be tough to pack that into 2 movies. Like that could be Captain Marvel 2 and something else, but it's so big of an event to really do the source material justice. It would need to be like a proper
like I don't want them to just touch on that. Like that Annihilation needs to be a major thing, it was so massive. So many major characters died in that or just didn't come back for a long time.
Exactly.
And on top of that too, you had a bunch of people that were just kind of just pretty much Marvel cosmic. I mean, all of the cosmic guys were involved in some way, shape, or form. So you had Nova had a big part, Silver Surfer had a part.
Yeah, Richard Rider's still gone.
It's just
It wasn't like he came back in a Nova book, but it wasn't really him.
Yeah.
So
we'll see though. We'll see, just because that would be pretty cool to see what they did with all that. So I think the best part about it is just trying to figure out all the different hints and everything they're gonna do to get you to that point. So that should definitely be a fun ride. Just getting to there, but then it's just exciting. I mean, just it seems like every couple months they like to just throw out a little bit more, breadcrumbs to us, like, yeah, we're doing this and we're doing this and we're doing this. You know, just the launch of Disney Plus and then Hulu, with all this new content is going to be crazy. And then you add into these movies and then everything else they're doing. It's just whew.
Right, exactly. Like for the longest time, we got so much, but it was limited to the MCU and maybe like an ABC show here and there, a couple things. But now they have 2 streaming platforms, the entire MCU. There's it's blown out how much they can do. And the other thing I want to say too is we're talking like a decade down the road for this.
Yeah.
A lot can happen, a lot can change in that time frame. They have maybe a loose framework of the direction they want to go, an idea where it wants to land at Secret Wars, but how that gets there or when it does, or they could completely scrap it and go in a different direction, right? They have.
I'm just saying, and this is all really speculation. There's been no official release. We're just talking about something that somebody heard one time somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So who knows what's really going to happen?
That's true. We don't know how much of this is misdirection too. I mean, because you don't know how much of it is just misinformation to be like, okay, we're gonna do all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, guess what? We changed this and we scrapped that, and that was the original plan, but we got to do this instead. So, that's why I say it's gonna be a fun ride, just because there's gonna be a lot of, speculation. How you're saying, we went this way, that way, back and forth. So it's just like, but to see it all come together is gonna be really fun.
Exactly. Yeah,
Keanu Reeves is going to play the one above all.
Yeah, he play all the characters.
That would be cool. Have him be the living tribunal, and like all of his faces are just different characters Keanu's played.
Yeah, Neo, John Wick, and Bill. But one of the heads is like, whoa. So that I don't know. If this is all true, it sounds freaking awesome to me. It sounds really cool. So I hope that they continue with this direction. So shout out to TiVo, Lords of the Longbox. His channel is Lords of the Longbox, lotlb.com, excuse me. But search Lords of the Longbox on YouTube, and that's how you can find his channel. I do want to shout out Armor Wolf, Comics Misexplained, Mastodon. A couple other folks are in here. I think I saw Mr. Gretzky at one time, and TJ, a bunch of people. So shout out to you guys. And then definitely I want to hear your folks feedback, your impressions of this on let me go ahead and stop sharing on that news and that direction. Would you like to see Secret Wars? What event would you like to see on screen? So go ahead and let us know, down in the comments, and we'll talk about that more. And that, my friends, is pretty much all of the news and the topics that I had, but I want to find out what you guys have coming up on your channels. Anything,
actual videos that don't fail.
Something, anything. Just put something up.
I had a great unboxing last night. I went ahead and went live. I didn't use this platform just because I wasn't even thinking. I was like, I'm just gonna go live, and so I got my box of stuff that I won from Who Dat's contest, and there was a contribution from those guys. If you've never gotten anything from those guys, it's usually fun to go ahead and do the unboxing, just because there's so much stuff that's thrown in there. But I had a great time unboxing it, so I did that live yesterday. So you guys can go check that out. It's worth a watch. It's pretty funny. I had a great time with it, and then last Friday was Terrificon. I went down. I gotten a bunch of books signed and stuff. Got to meet some really, really cool people. And tomorrow is Boston Fan Expo. So day number 1, I'm going to be doing that all 3 days. So I will definitely have a bunch of stuff going up, within the next week or so, this weekend, and then just, spacing stuff out so I can just show everything that's going on, everything that I've picked up, everything I've gotten signed, and just kind of, just everything all together. So this past 2 weekends has just been jam filled with different stuff. So I will have a bunch of different stuff to show coming up very, very soon. So, but now you can watch my unboxing, but get ready, because, the actual legitimate con season is here for me, and it's, just packed in like crazy, because I have, 2 weekends in a row, just comics everywhere. So
Nice.
Gonna be
Sounds
great.
pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. How about you, Justin? What you got coming up?
I need to do. There was a fried pie con here 2 weekends ago, like
What
the
is
third. I
that?
think it was the third. Fried pie variants.
Yeah, not like a baking contest.
I was gonna
Yeah.
be like, what?
But so they held a con at Second and Charles near me, and Aftershock was there. Like Joe Pruitt, Pat Jenkins, like several people from Aftershock, other independent creators were there and stuff. And they of course had sell on their back issues. So I picked up a few books. I need to do a whole video on that. The thing that failed was me doing some Magic the Gathering arena gameplay that screwed up my encoder. So I'm still working on that. I still want to get some of that out. Just because it's fun, and most of the time I'm just talking about comics while I play Magic anyway. So
Sounds pretty cool.
might as well record it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that kind of stuff coming up. Just got to get it on there. So sorry for the lack of content, but it's coming back. Don't worry.
Sweet. Yeah. Awesome. So we'll be looking forward to that for sure. Okay, cool. So I got the same type of stuff I've been putting up. A couple of videos that'll be out. I have a villain, a DC villain origin video coming up, and another G.I. Joe video, which will be the Master of Disguise, Mr. Zartan himself.
Man.
So that'll be coming out this weekend. I'll be trying to wrap that up maybe tomorrow. Get it uploaded.
One last thing for the G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah,
it's coming out. They rebooted. The twins are going to be in it.
Oh yeah, Tamox and
Wild Bill was going to be. And I was like, really, Wild Bill? All right.
Yeah, dude. I saw the list of like how that was going to go. It looked good.
And Chuckles.
Tamox is going to be cool, man.
Chuckles will be in it.
Chuckles, yes, right.
Chuckles of all people.
Honestly, like I feel like in the cartoon, Chuckles was very, very like quiet. He didn't say much of anything at all. But hey, you get to see that wonderful Hawaiian shirt. I can't wait.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. I think that should also be Keanu Reeves.
He's just every character in every movie from now on.
That's right. All right, cool. So that is it for this episode of Comic Conversation. We went over some things. We stuck it to an hour. Shout out to everybody who followed us here in the comments. Your questions, your feedback, fact checkers. We always appreciate that. And shout out to StreamYard. This is our first time using it here on the show. So I think it worked pretty well, and I think we're going to stick with it. So shout out to them. That's it. We'll see you next week. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.